talking about giving opportunities to our kids to enter into a world that we don't understand for the most part. It is so dramatically different than what most of us grew up with. It is changing at such a pace that we simply can't keep up. If our goal is to simply find different ways to inculcate the kids with knowledge, guess what? We are outdated and they will move on from us. If you want to see something phenomenal, watch a student test a teacher's knowledge by Googling it under the desk. Rapid fire, right? Knowledge is not what it's about anymore. It's the application of knowledge. It's the furthering of knowledge through inquiry to build a set of skills that these kids can be nimble enough to handle anything that comes at them. What does that mean? It means the education model that we are looking at has to change fairly dramatically. When you walk through our schools and you see some of the examples, I am incredibly fortunate because I'm the next door neighbor to the STEM lab that Tom is talking about. Today, what was happening when we were all in that room last week with the second graders, today 2 of the little first grade boys came down to my office. They're like, Mr. Slentz, you gotta see this. This is so cool. And to watch them go in, and Mary Arnott, are you still here?
She's getting married on July 2nd. She's got a lot to do. So.
I will talk to her about her priorities tomorrow. But these 2 little boys came in, and what they go through in that lab, we're starting to see replicated in more and more of our classrooms. Because look, if we who grew up under the auspices of the red pen, if we continue to build that model that there is a right answer, there is a wrong answer, we will frustrate these kids to the point that they will shut down. We are not preparing them for their future. These kids are not consumers. They are producers. How can we leverage how this generation is wired? How can we leverage how the world is changing to remove obstacles and give our kids opportunities? One of the ways that we can do it is through this fantastic partnership that we have with an organization called the Foundation, right? When you walk through our schools, when you look at Mary's classroom, when you walk into Anne Montreal's classroom, when Anne says, you know what, there's an obstacle here. Some of my kids can't sit still. There was a day where there was a 12-inch ruler that solved for that, right? That day was a long time ago. That doesn't fit within our paradigm anymore, as sometimes as parents we wish so, but we have this theory that, wait a minute, if the kids are bouncing and they can't sit still and that's distracting from their ability to engage, then get a seat that bounces with them. And so we ran a pilot this year. Originally it came to the foundation. Sharon McGee and I talked about this and said, wait a minute, we can do better. Let the district pick some of these things up. When you walk past Anne's room at the beginning of the year, and if you've ever been to the Waterman Primary School, there's observation windows that are about 5 feet high. And if you positioned yourself just right and you could see the heads, it was hysterical. This phenomenon. Within 2 weeks you walk past and you get this, and what was happening? The kids were focused and they were engaged. Everything that we are trying to do is really twofold. Provide opportunities for our kids to really build a set of skills that allows them to be nimble across so many different areas within the world today, to give them learning opportunities on things that maybe they didn't know they were passionate about, but to find ways to partner with the foundation, with so many different talents that we have in this community, to play this game of what if on behalf of our kids, to give them those opportunities. How can we take a student, for example, who really was resistant to science, have her go into Scott Stagnita's class using the hydroponics lab that the foundation so generously funded, and to have her stand in front of our Board of Education and say very proudly, I'm headed off to Morrisville College next year to study in their, the horticulture program there. This is a phenomenal program. It is a gem that sits in central New York, and off goes this gal that really was somewhat directionless prior to that. When you walk into the Zoom room and Corey Riley's classes, when Corey can stand back and the kids are doing the work, they are constructing, they are producing things that make meaning to them, and guess what happens when you do that? Test results. All of the things that we still use as measurements, whether they're right, wrong, or indifferent, all of that starts to go up. Our idea is that if we remove obstacles, if we put things in place that can help kids deal with the social and emotional issues, that can deal with some of the physical challenges, that can deal with some of what's called the spiritual challenges. For us, that's really trying to figure out a kid's North Star. What is your purpose? If we can help them figure those things out, those are obstacles to those opportunities to learn, to get them more ready than ever to participate meaningfully in the 21st and, let's be honest, headed rapidly towards the 22nd century. It is a very different model. It's scary. I understand that. The changes that we are going through are really shaking up the establishment, if you will, on behalf of kids who desperately need that. The partnerships that we have been able to form with so many of you in this room, with so many people in this community, and we're not done yet. We're just not done yet. There are so many more assets that we can leverage on behalf of our kids. We want you to play along with us. One of the things that we talk about, for example, is a school within the school. What about, and this is just a model that we're playing with, we have such talent within our music and art faculty, and we have such talented kids. Sam and Jimmy are here as great examples of that. Such talented kids, such a giving community around the arts. What would it look like if we built on our campus a performing arts academy, where the kids are taking what we call the core classes in the morning, and in the afternoon, they're applying that learning in an academy around music and arts? What would that look like? These are the things that we're starting to play with so that kids can really have that opportunity to truly engage in meaningful educational experiences that do one of two things, one of three things actually. Absolutely proves their passion, and they're headed off in the right direction with some of these fantastic experiences that they know now. Other kids say, thank goodness I had this experience. I literally have no interest in doing this. I didn't understand what it really meant until I got to get my hands on it and wrap my head around it in an applied learning setting. And then there's that middle ground. This is fantastic. I want to play around with this for the rest of my life, but this is not what I want to do. We have, as a district, those three charges to make sure we give our students every opportunity to prove their passion, to disprove their passion, or to figure out what is it going to be that helps me live a rich and fulfilling life around any of the things that we can offer them. That's our obligation to give to our kids. And when we talk about what does it mean for our kids to be ready, it means to give them as many opportunities, to rid as many obstacles as we can, so that when they walk across our stage, as they'll do on the 26th, they can literally say, yeah, we're ready. We're ready. That's what we want to engage you all in. There are opportunities that we still have to leverage. There's things that we know as a district we have to do better at. And we are opening ourselves to those questions. What's going well? What do we want to memorialize? What do we want to capture and protect? But what are some things that we know we have to really work hard on? And again, why are we doing that? Get rid of those obstacles and improve those opportunities and make sure that our kids have the skills and dispositions that they need to really be successful kids, so that when they leave our community, we give them every reason to come back. That's what we feel our mission is. And we are so grateful for the partnerships that we have, for the willingness for so many of you to sit at the table and play what if, to provoke us into thinking differently, to give our staff the opportunity to play around with some different models that really benefit kids. And again, that partnership is invaluable to us. So thank you all very much for your support. We appreciate it.